All right, Dave here. I'm at the Hopworks Brewery and Restaurant. Very, very unique place. As you can see, the entire restaurant is lined with bicycle frames. We've got Scott frames, Trek frames, Cannondale, Giant. Look at that, even an old Peugeot, Diamondback, Raleigh, Giant. All kinds of frames here. This was the scene of the number ceremony tonight for the Grand Prix cyclocross race. Place is obviously, it's a mob scene, and I'm with Christian Ettinger. He's the owner, founder of this place. And Christian, can you tell us a little bit about the whole bicycle theme here and why you have all these frames hanging here, and it's a very unique place. There's got to be a story.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just a bike freak with a beer making habit. So it took me about 15 years to put this idea together. I guess it was about 12 years by the time I started. We got about 200 seats inside here, and over the bar we got 42 scrap bike frames that came from, about a third of them I got out of dumpsters, a third of them I got from friends, and then a third of them were from bike shops that had warranty frames that were unrideable.
We're going to come over here as a little better light. So I see that some of ththose frames are dented. You weren't responsible for some of those dents, were you?
No, other people took credit for that. I just took credit for assembling them and putting them in a high, basically giving them new life. This whole place is about breathing new life into old stuff.
So how did the Grand Prix of cyclocross find you, and how was the decision made to hold the number ceremony here tonight?
Well, it's kind of, as you get more and more involved with the cycling community around here, there's a lot of, I won't say inbreeding, but, there's certainly every group is overlapping in some way, So
yeah, a lot of networking.
Yeah, so through, I think, the Cross Crusade, I got in touch with, they were looking for a home base for the registration, and we have a great space available for that. They love beer. We love, promoting our beer, and it really worked out great. So it's the second annual, and they're seeing steady growth on their side, and we just love getting new faces in here,
I'm kind of wondering how this thing got going. A couple, 2-3 years ago, I've seen pictures of what this building looked like prior to you getting it. It obviously took a great deal of vision to think you could turn this into a restaurant, but here you are in Southeast Portland. Maybe not the best neighborhood in all of Portland. What were you thinking when you decided to do this? And once you decided to do it, it looks like you constructed it in a very, very unique way. You want to tell a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I mean, most of the areas that you immediately think about as being ready for something like this, they've been discovered per se. You can't afford it. The lease rates are already through the roof, so you got to go to the transitional areas, or you got to be really risky and go to the areas that are, corridors with good communities surrounding them, but may not be obvious at all for development. And that's kind of what we stumbled upon here. The demographics were excellent. About 80,000 people within 2 miles of this place. No brewery in sight. 50,000 cars a day going by the front door because we're on a state highway. A big lot, former industrial use, so plenty of parking at a good price. And the building, great bones. My dad's an architect, so he and I were just going through different buildings, but really up inside the loft here was a gem.
So it's 1948?
Yeah, it was covered in acoustic ceiling panels, and we sandblasted it and opened it up.
I've seen pictures of this ceiling. This had all kinds of old paint on it and all kinds of stuff, and you sandblasted that.
Yeah, we used corn cob actually because it's compostable. So.
Yeah. So how did you learn how to make beer? Yeah, I understand you're the brewmaster here also?
Yeah,
so I mean, how did that happen?
Owner and brewmaster. I've actually been making beer. It's the only thing I've ever been paid for since I was 21 years old. So I'm 36 now, so really labor love for me, Started out brewing in high school and college.
Is that just a lot of experimentation? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like anything, if you find a career track that is hits all the hot buttons. Like it's intellectually challenging, it's artistic,
right?
Really, and it's highly social. And the end product is something that somebody recreates around, much the way cycling. Everybody, I think I could easily be involved in the cycling world because everybody recreates around their free time. Beer is much the same way. So it has this kind of euphoric quality to the whole experience. So I've been doing it for a long time. Absolutely love it, every minute of it. So
it just seems to me that you've hit on the perfect formula. You got a building that you could afford. You put it in a neighborhood where there was, maybe they didn't know there was a need for this place, but obviously the place is packed and people love it. And I had the IPA tonight. It was definitely one of the better IPAs that I've had.
Oh, thank you very much.
So you got good beer and you got good food and you got a good vibe going on here, and you're bike people. So
yeah, I mean I'm a bike freak. I got 7 bikes hanging in my living room. All I can think about is the next bike I want to get myself for Christmas, and my wife thinks I'm crazy. But
so all those guys that were downstairs for the number ceremony tonight, they may actually have less bikes than you.
Yeah, it's possible. We got our new bike bar too, which is it's a 2-wheeled keg hauler with a bar top built out of old growth Chris King and Shimano XTR tap handles. I don't know anybody else who has Chris King tap handles.
Well, I just want to say to our viewers, you got to come down to Hopworks in Southeast Portland. You got a surprise waiting for you in the men's bathroom. I won't tell you what it is. Anyway, thanks for your time, Christian.
Thank you very much, Dave.
All right, bye-bye.